Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Ne0 Gets to Know. We're back, of course, with another interview. This time over on the CSGO side, and I'm joined by Fnatic Rising's own Volt. Brother, how you doing?
Yeah. Thank you. You?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Thank you for joining me. Let's just start right at the beginning. What is your story into esports, into video games? Where did it start for you from kind of a kid? Where did you get involved with video games? And now, how has that led to you having a career in esports?
All right. So I know my cousin will be watching this, and
Mhm.
he's gonna want to hear me say this.
Okay.
But the first time I've ever played CS
Okay.
1.6 was when I was like 6 or 7
Mhm.
years old. He took me to an internet cafe,
Okay.
and believe it or not, the first game that we played was Counter-Strike 1.6.
Damn.
And I remember the map as well. It was CS Assault, the hostage map, and I was
Okay. All
super
right.
excited to play it. I was like screaming across the whole. That was the first time, and eventually I got the game on my
Mhm.
own computer, and I was playing that at 1.6 still. I love to play like surf maps, B-hop
Yeah.
maps, that kind of stuff. I wasn't really into like the competitive, 5v5s, but
Mhm.
the casual part. Uh, and then eventually around 2013, I found out about Global Offensive,
Mhm.
but at that point, I was still pretty young, and my parents weren't really like buying games for me on the computer,
Sure.
so I was sticking with my 1.6. But eventually, on my birthday on 2014, that's when they finally bought me CS:GO,
Hey,
and
nice.
that's where it started. That was the first time I played the game, and I've been
Okay.
hooked on ever since.
So for you, kind of Counter Strike, even in kind of 1.6 and Go, it's more or less always been a part of your life. You mentioned kind of 6 years
Yeah,
old, so CS has always been
yeah,
the
yeah.
game. So for you, there was never really a temptation to look into other games. You look at the big esports like League, Dota, Siege, for example, even Valorant. I guess was it never a temptation for any of those?
I've tried to play League and Dota, but just those style of games never really reached out to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just the CS just seemed more appealing for me at
it's the
least.
one.
Uh, Valorant, I played it a bit, of course. Who didn't play it when it came out?
Yeah, true.
But I couldn't really play it for too long. I don't know. It got boring, and of course,
Yeah.
I had to go back to CS because that's where the fun is.
Exactly, exactly. Let's talk about kind of the big news, right? Fnatic Rising. Where did that sort of opportunity come from? How did it come across? And for you, yeah, how did the opportunity come about? And how did it make you feel when they approached you and were like, trial for us? And then when you got through the trial, all of those steps, how did they come?
I did mention in the UK CS:GO
Mm-hmm.
article back like a month ago or something. Uh, Initially, I was contacted by Cube to try out for the team,
Sure.
and then we spoke a bit, but it fell apart because the main team was doing a lot of changes and they were using academy players,
Yeah.
so the trials never happened. And then after some time, uh, maybe like 2 or 3 months later, he contacted me again. And that time, I mean, there was no trials really. I kind of just
Sure.
joined the team
Okay.
straight away. It was pretty simple, but yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just joined. There was no process of playing this and
Right.
seeing how it worked. Because WePlay started
Like
like
pretty
soon
soon,
after
right?
that. So
Yeah.
there was yeah. So we kind of just had to go with it, and yeah. I mean, the rest is history.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So for you, was it more of a case of like they'd seen you play? Obviously, you played quite a lot in terms of the UK scene, right? So you played with kind of the likes of UMX, Coalesce, etc. Had they seen those demos, seen those vods, whatnot, and then said, okay, I think he's good enough and he can fit in?
I would assume they saw me from my time with Fambit and
Sure.
Coalesce. I haven't really found like I haven't talked to them about it
Hmm.
where they saw me to approach me, but I would assume like it must have been because we were on HLTV quite a bit as
It's
well
true.
with Advanced. We had a lot of games, so maybe that helped make me a bit more noticeable.
Nice.
But yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know how they
It
found me.
worked.
Like it worked. It
That's
worked
all that
out.
matters. And of course, the
Yeah.
uh, the big thing, it really did work. You are the season 5 champions. I mean, how does that feel?
Hey, it feels amazing. Any other team than Mouz NXT to be the first ones to win it
Exactly.
is huge. Uh, of course, with the org as well, the first time Fnatic wins the WePlay,
Mhm.
and beating the streak of Mouz feels really good because it looked like nobody was gonna be able to do it.
Yeah.
Everyone was always thinking, oh, is this gonna be the fifth time that Mouz is gonna win it,
Yeah.
or otherwise, I would say after Mouz didn't make it through the group stage this time around, people were looking at Big to take it,
Mhm.
and they kind of just put us in the shadow a bit because they saw that we lost Regali, and people just thought these guys aren't gonna be able to do it. So
Yeah.
all eyes were on Big, and we kind of just grinded it out behind the scenes. We topped the group,
Mhm.
came into playoffs. We didn't lose any game. So I mean, the way
Easy
we won it
stuff.
was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. 16-1 on that final map was ridiculous. For you
yeah,
guys, do you think that Fnatic Rising was slept on? Do you think people really kind
yeah.
of didn't appreciate how good you guys actually were?
I think so for sure. Even though we topped our group,
Hmm.
people were still like, I don't know, they didn't really think much of it,
Hmm.
and a lot of people were looking at Big because they won their group 11-1.
True.
But I'm gonna say something a bit controversial, and
Go for it.
I think Group E was much easier, and it kind of made Big look really good
Like
because
better than they are, kind of thing.
yeah, 'cause if you look at the playoffs, three of the teams were from Group A,
Yeah.
and Big was the only one from Group B. So I think Group
There
A
you go.
was like had much tougher opposition.
Hmm.
So for us to group it was to top it was really good,
Yeah.
and
Easy
you
stuff.
know coming in the playoffs, I think the game against Big, people thought we'd lose it, but we did manage to 2-0 them pretty nicely.
Hmm.
So that was nice.
When you went into playoffs, obviously you mentioned you flawlessly took your group. I mean that in its own is such a big feat. Once you got to playoffs, did you think, okay, well, Mouz NXT are no longer here, so the reigning champs aren't around. You've just topped your group. Was it from then on that you think, okay, we've got this, like we're gonna win this?
Confidence came from before the season even started.
Okay.
We didn't go into replay thinking, oh, we need to beat Mouse or we need to dethrone them.
Hmm.
It was the whole idea of we come in and we beat everyone. We don't
Love
aim
it.
to just beat one team because like even the season before, like we were super disappointed with how we were eliminated previously. We did manage to make playoffs last season as well, but I don't really want to speak about what happened in the playoffs. It was a bit of the C word choke,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we went out pretty badly against Mouse, and I think Big beat us in the best of three as well.
Hmm.
So it was super nice to get revenge this season,
Nice.
and we beat Mouse twice as well. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
in the both best of ones. So it wasn't really about beating Mouse. It was just about showing that we're the better academy team.
Obviously, you mentioned as well, kind of last season, season 4, you finished third, fourth overall. This time, of course, gone that step better. What was the preparation and the kind of grind you had between season 4 and 5 that really elevated you guys? 'Cause I think, of course, you looked very good in season 4, but you were just unstoppable in season 5. What was the difference? Because, I mean, you just seemed just so brilliant, so perfect as a team.
Um, we we didn't do as much preparation as we would have wanted.
Hmm.
Us losing Regali like a week or two after season 4 meant that we had to search for a different offer,
Sure.
and we went for a few, but then eventually we came to Depreshn. The player, not we weren't depressed. I mean, we were depressed, of course, for our loss, but
Yeah.
uh, we got him, and we only had 1 week to prepare for
Wow,
season
not a
5.
lot.
Yeah, so we kind of just grinded out. We try to make our map pool good with him, get him up to date with everything,
Hmm.
and I mean, I guess it worked out. It's easier to replace uh, a player that isn't the IGL because
For sure.
us four, like we already had the foundation built, so we kind of just slotted in Depreshn,
Yeah, perfect.
and we just went from there. So we had like the foundation built from season 4. We improved it a bit before the season started, and then we went into season 5.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And of course, you won now. What was the celebrations for you? Did you do anything special after winning? I mean, it's a pretty
Uh,
big feat.
yeah, I mean, if you remember the cousin that actually
Yeah, yeah.
introduced me to CS, he came over to my house and he watched me play it. Right after the
Nice.
game, we got a nice kebab and
Oh,
celebrated with some
love it.
nice takeaway. Yeah.
That is love it. I love it. So we've already sort of touched on Miles and NXT. And I think that's sort of a big talking point, right? 4 times in a row they were the champions, and then they don't even make it out of groups. What do you think went wrong for them?
I'm not sure what went wrong. Something definitely went wrong
Mm-hmm.
because you can't just go from winning 4 times
Yeah,
to
exactly.
suddenly not even like making the groups. Uh, there must be something in the team. Maybe they lost motivation a bit
Mm-hmm.
because they did win 4 seasons in a row.
True.
I mean, I don't know, winning 4, moving into the 5, you probably just think like this is too easy. Like, do
Any
we need to
old.
win the 5th? Just give it to someone else.
Yeah.
We get
Do you,
and yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, do you think them losing Torzsi and JDC had like big parts in kind of them not finding that success anymore, or not finding the stability maybe?
Not really, because even after they lost those 2 players, they did win the
True.
season 4. So I don't think it was that. Uh, it could be loads of things,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. But yeah, I don't think in the upcoming season it'll be the same. I think this was just a really
Like a
bad season for them.
one-off. Yeah.
It was a one-off, yeah. But
Yeah.
we'll be waiting for them in the next season
Oh,
for
we
sure.
love to see it. We absolutely love to see it. And I wanted to sort of touch on the WePlay Academy League. How important do you think kind of the WePlay Academy League is, generally speaking, for kind of finding these next talent? Because if you look at some of those guys who've made it through the Academy League, Torzsi and Ne0 are probably the 2 big names everyone looks towards. Do you think it's like a really kind of good staple thing in terms of finding these new talent and kind of getting them ready for a pro career?
The Academy League is good for people to get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in the cases of ne0 and Torzsi, it's a bit I don't know, like it's a bit hard to get to that level. I think
Sure.
they're more extreme cases, and of course both are AWPers, so it's always gonna be easier for AWPers to
Yeah.
do those kind of things than for riflers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Academy League is definitely one of the first places you want to get into to be noticed and to try to get the next step if you're good enough, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense. And on the other side, is there any sort of changes that you'd want to see made for the Academy League? Anything you'd like to see done differently, or potentially in towards season 6? Something that you prefer that has changed?
I wouldn't say change things up, but I want to see lands back. And of
Okay,
course, the
sure.
situation right now it is that there's a war in Ukraine and they can't do it.
Of
But
course.
I think they might look for some alternatives and we might get some lands back, which would be awesome.
Hmm.
We won the season 5 online, but it would be even nicer to win one
Win it
on
in
LAN.
person. Yeah.
So I think bringing it back to LAN would be the biggest for me.
How does it feel as well going into season 6, kind of with the target on your back? I mean, you had such a good run throughout playoffs as well, even to close things out of a 16-1 on the final map. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say you were comfortably the best team this season, right? And how does it feel now? Is it a different sort of pressure now that you are the champions, now that you're going in as the reigning champs? You've got this target on your back. Everyone's looking to beat Fnatic Rising. Does that kind of change how you prepare coming into season 6?
I wouldn't say it's pressure. I feel like the pressure is off now because
Sure.
uh, you know, the first time when you want to win it, that's when the pressure is because like you really just want to get it. I feel
Yeah.
like this is the case for Big Academy. They really want to win it, but
Hmm.
they can't really seem to get it over. Once they reach like the playoff stage, they kind of just fall off a bit and they
Yeah,
don't quite
agreed.
make it. I think they've placed like top 4 every season pretty
I think
much,
so,
but
yeah.
they haven't been able to win in any of them. So I feel they have quite a bit of pressure to win it. But I
Hmm.
think for us, now that we won it, uh, there is less pressure because like we know what it feels like to win it. So we don't there isn't the pressure of us wanting to get our first win.
Yeah.
And now we kind of just continue and try to get more and more.
Hmm. And on the other side, right, obviously you're Fnatic Rising, you've got the main team ahead of you. Do you think the trade-off in terms of playing for an academy team, which then limits the types of tournaments you can join, right? Because, of course, if Fnatic's in a tournament, you're not allowed to play the same tournament, of course, there's a conflict of interest there. Do you think the trade-off's worth it for you kind of currently?
Yeah, at the moment with the RMRs going on, it is a bit sad to be
Hmm.
on the sidelines just watching and not being able to participate.
For sure.
Uh, it does suck a bit, I guess, because there is qualifiers as well, and you
You
see
want
them
to
and
play them.
you think, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
play them, but then the main team is playing in the event, so that's not
Oh,
possible. Uh, But I think the WePlay Academy League makes up for it quite a lot,
for sure.
honestly.
For sure.
So I don't think it's that bad. And
Yeah.
there is like other things that the main team isn't playing that we can play.
Mhm.
For example, this season we're going to be playing Advanced on ESCA,
Nice.
and then we'll probably have some invites for cups here and there. So I mean,
So,
like there's still things to play, but of course, like the big things, uh, it's not going to be possible in academy team.
yeah, that makes sense. And of course, I want to sort of touch on something that where I originally got introduced to you, which is of course the UK scene, right? And you've now moved internationally, and do you think that is kind of the big step for kind of UK players who are good enough? Do you think that it's a necessity to kind of sort of escape the UK scene in a sense to be able to further your career? You know, go international, represent you know, EU orgs for example, because it will help further your career.
I think everyone has to do it. I feel like
Mhm.
maybe if you want to make it as a solo player, then yeah, maybe go to the EU.
Sure.
But I think there is a possibility for a UK team to just make a breakout performance and start like reaching those top. I mean, if you look at ITB,
Of
like
course.
they're doing all right. You know, UK players they don't need to go EU.
Yeah.
They have that UK core that's doing pretty well,
Mhm.
and I think there is a possibility for UK teams to make it through,
Sure.
but of course a lot of work needs to be put in still, and
Yeah.
maybe for like some players, maybe going EU might be the solution for now,
Mhm.
but I think in the future, uh, staying in the UK scene will be probably better than it is at the
Yeah.
moment.
And obviously you were kind of an inaugural part of the UK scene for such a long time. What do you think needs to change in the UK scene to make it better? I think, you know, it has a bit of a bad rep at times. I think a lot of people say, you know, the UK is very toxic, or, you know, a lot of people even like to say that the UK CS is just, you know, terrible, generally speaking. What are your kind of personal thoughts about the UK scene? And then what would you like to see changed, basically?
Uh, I know people like to talk a lot of trash about the UK
Yeah.
scene, but it is improving
Hmm.
over time, that's for sure. It might not be like insane improvements, but there is improvements for sure. We're starting to see more teams have good performances on HOTV.
Hmm.
We're starting to see a lot more cups now, the Beyond one, which
Yeah,
is
for sure.
gonna start soon. So we're getting more exposure in that sense. But I think we need more than there is now, like
Like
way more.
tournaments and
Te-
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And teams need to be more consistent. We
Hmm.
need to see more teams breaking top 50 because, like right now, we just have ITB.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna count endpoint because it's only two, but
Yeah, you basically can't.
uh,
Yeah.
like we need more of those teams that can, go to Finland and win a LAN
For sure.
or make it a Challenger League and do damage there.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what exactly the issues are. I think like in Fambit we weren't really a typical like UK
Yeah,
team in
for
like with
sure.
how we acted. So I don't know what the problems are in other teams, but I think just making sure to grind out and stick together as a
Hmm.
team would be like the main solution for a lot of teams,
Yeah.
because I feel like at the moment there's changes being made all the time
Every
in
season, like they
yeah
change a player every
yeah.
time. Yeah.
So if we could see teams just sticking it out and working through their mistakes, trying to become better as a team, rather than just going around making changes all the time,
Yeah.
changing teams every season. If you just stick it out for one season and you practice together and you try to improve together,
Hmm.
then eventually you'll make that step up. But if you keep changing, like you're just gonna keep going back, and that's
Yeah.
there's no point.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's one of the big things, the changes. So I want to touch on a sort of you individually, and I want to kind of ask a nice broad question. So who's the best player you've ever played with, in your opinion?
Best player I played with.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be someone from this team.
Sure.
Uh, I would say Pebzor is the best.
Okay.
You can definitely see that he has had that tier one experience, but we
Yeah.
do laugh a bit about it,
Hmm.
that he has the tier one experience. But it is true, like you could definitely see that he knows a lot about the game, and
For
he
sure.
is insanely like mechanically skilled. Uh, so I think he's up there. I've learned quite a bit from him also.
Awesome. And who's the best player you ever played against? And this could be like, you know,
Mm.
a pug or a scrim
Oh,
or even
Scrim.
an
I mean,
official.
it's simple. Simple. I've scrimmed against simple.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What was it like
Uh,
playing against Simple?
he's
Just unstoppable?
yeah, I guess he has a force field around him. You can't really shoot him.
Just cheating, base simple as.
Must be.
And then, is there anyone that you think is sort of underrated? Like, you know, people don't really give them the respect they deserve, and in your opinion, they're better than a lot of people, or like, you know, maybe not spoken about enough.
From anywhere or?
Yeah. I mean, from anywhere, or people that you've played with or played against, etc.
I think right now in my team, Maze, people are starting to talk about him more, but Maze is like really starting to, you know, catch people's eyes. You know, he's really good leader. He's grinding out really hard. He's making sure that everyone else is trying to stay at the same level because, you know, we don't want to have any slackers in the team. But I think the job he's doing right now with the team is really good, and I think he's getting the recognition now, but I think he deserves more recognition for what he's doing. He is a really big part of why we won this season of WePlay and why we are grinding even the HOTV rankings right now because him and Shedan at least are doing a lot of work together to make sure that we're performing well.
Love it. And of course, you mentioned a little bit earlier, you brought Depreshn in for this season, and Regali, of course, stepped away. How big of a kind of a change was that to your team, generally speaking? Of course, you know, you mentioned you had a week to practice, so it's not really enough time. But, you know, how big of a difference is it between those two individually?
As AWPers, I would say Regali is much more aggressive, so Depreshn is like a bit more opposite, more passive. And also Regali is super loud. He's like a hype player. He's gonna be screaming and stuff.
Sure.
Depreshn is a bit more laid back in that sense.
Yeah.
So I would say they're a bit opposite players to each other. And I think this season, at least for WePlay, Depreshn had a bit of pressure on him because people, like, of course, if you're gonna change the best player, best operator in the Academy League, people are gonna be looking at you to expect similar kind of things. So I think he definitely had pressure on him in that way. He did well to deal with it, but of course,
it's tough, right?
we're not gonna expect him to do the Regali type.
Yeah. Do you think though his sort of you mentioned he's quite passive as an opener? I think that was definitely kind of noted throughout the season. Do you think that completely different style of AWPing from a much more passive AWPer compared to the very aggro kind of shotgun AWPing style of Regali actually helped you this season because it kind of, you know, meant that, you know, for him as a passive player, he wouldn't really die as much as Regali, who would go for those aggressive fights. Do you think that helped your team this season?
I think like the rest of us four can work with both passive and aggressive. I don't think it really changes. I don't know. I don't think there was too much of a difference personally. I think the team kind of stayed the same in a way.
And of course, now there's a bit of a sort of a down period until the next season. You mentioned you're going to be competing in advanced. Are we expecting to see you anywhere else? Any tournaments that you've got locked in that we should be able to expect your face in aside from advanced and season 6 when it rolls around?
Nothing that I'm aware of right now. I think there is some invites, but I'm not sure about the names yet.
Okay, sure.
We do have a bit of a break now because WePlay did happen during the player break, so we didn't really have any time. And of course, the season is starting up again, so we need to take a few weeks off before we start again.
Yes, for sure.
But I think September is going to be pretty stacked coming up now.
Love to see it. And last for you, in this section, I want to ask kind of what are your long-term goals? What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to be? You know, you talk to a lot of players, and they always say, you know, they want to make top 30 players or top 20 players, etc. What is your personal individual goals?
As a player, I want to reach a point of consistency where I can, you know, I don't have like a really bad game and then a really good game. I want to have really good games all the time, and I don't want to just be average because I feel like this WePlay season I played quite average. Of course, like Pebzor and Maze just blasted everyone. So like I didn't have to do much, but I don't really want to just have average performances. I want to, you know, be up there as well. So
for sure.
First of all, those are two of the things, and then also for the team at least, personally, I we're really close to breaking top 50,
Mm-hmm.
but I think getting to like that top 30 something, top 40
Okay, sure.
position would be really cool.
Awesome, awesome. I love to see it. I love to see it. I like the confidence as well. It's like modest confidence. I love to see it. We'll go on to sort of your personal life. You already sort of mentioned about how you got into CS like through your cousin when you're 6 years old in 1.6 and whatnot. But what was life like growing up for you? What was your kind of your childhood like? What did you like doing, etc., etc.?
Like really being that like an active child. Like I didn't really go out to play football that much, or
Sure.
I didn't like you always hear like all of these other pros. They always say, "Oh, I used to be a footballer or something," and then I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
an accident. I really loved like computers a lot growing up.
Mhm.
Anything to do with computers. At one point, I used to love to do graphic design
Oh, awesome.
on yeah. So I stopped now, but
Mhm.
that was like a bit of a
Like a
hobby
hobby
that I
kind of
had.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I did spend a lot of time on my PC
Mhm.
growing up, for sure. I would always just be locked away in my room
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
games every single day.
That's most of us. That is most of us. But of course,
Yeah.
like you kind of already slightly touched on it with the graphic design stuff. But nowadays, do you have any hobbies or sort of interest outside of esports?
Yeah, I mean, I'm studying at uni right now.
Okay,
I'm doing computer science,
nice.
so I enjoy a bit of programming,
Okay,
that kind of
sure,
stuff.
sure.
Yeah, so that's my main focus. I've kind of let go of the graphic design
Mhm.
part. I've kind of lost interest now over time, but computer science is my
Okay, and then if let's say tomorrow, being a CS pro was no longer a sort of a possibility, or kind of in the near future, you no longer could be a CS pro. Would then going into sort of a computer science role be where you'd probably look towards?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Some sort of software engineer or
Okay. Okay, that makes
around
sense.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I have a plan B, of course. You can't just go into
You're
CS
a smart
without
lad.
any other plans, otherwise you're screwed.
Yeah, you're a smart lad. You're a smart lad. So I want to also touch on kind of what a daily routine looks like for you. I think every pro kind of has different ways to do it. I want to sort of give me what a daily routine looks like when you have an official, and then one when you don't.
When I have an official, I try to wake up pretty early. I've been trying to fix my sleeping schedule lately because it
Okay.
has been going down the trash, especially with the pandemic. Sleeping has been terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm trying to wake up early,
Hmm.
especially on official days. We have like a set way that we do it in the team, like with
Sure.
scrims and talking before and anti-stratting.
Hmm.
But I try to get my DM kills before, make sure that I'm feeling comfortable for the day, so
Hmm.
I don't just go in. I don't start with the team
Yeah,
not warmed up. Like
for sure.
I make sure to focus on myself before that. Uh, I get my breakfast, all the usual stuff. There
All the
isn't
good stuff.
anything special really,
Yeah.
yeah. But I just try to get in the zone for myself, and then we do the stuff with the team.
And just a sort of slightly off-topic question, but an interesting one all the same is how much do you actually practice for Fnatic Rising? Is it every day, or is it 5 times a week, for example? What's your sort of practice schedule?
Right now, because school was off, we tried to practice as much as possible.
Sure.
So we've like pretty much every day almost,
Mhm.
we've taken some days off, and we've been trying to maximize the amount of time that we've had each day. So we're playing like up to like 4 or 5 scrims, and
Wow.
then a lot of talking. Uh, but I think it will change now a bit with school starting. Of
Mhm.
course, we are an academy, so we have young players still at school.
Yeah,
So
for
I
sure.
think that's gonna decrease a bit. We won't have as much practice going into the next season. But of course, we try to use all the time that we have.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think it's going to affect you at all? Kind of now that a lot of you going to school. You mentioned you're at university as well. Do you think that makes things a little bit more difficult for you guys? 'Cause I know some of the other academy teams they're still young, but some of them don't really go to school, so they have kind of more time just to
Yeah,
grow off. Do you think that's gonna like hinder you guys at all?
not really. I think now that we've got the basic down,
Hmm.
foundation built, everything, it is just building on to that and
Sure.
making sure to make to keep the level up the entire time. So we don't really need to have that many scrims per day or 8 hours of practice
grinding.
each day.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
We can do a bit less now.
Yeah, exactly. You're champions. You can take a little bit of a relax. So yeah, I feel that. So another thing that I think is always interesting, especially for the younger players, right? You know, yourself in the academy, and even the guys kind of younger than you. But for you individually, how hard or easy was the conversation with your family and your parents saying, okay, you know what, like, I'm gonna go full-time esports. I'm gonna, or I'm gonna, try and go pro. I'm gonna play for this academy team. Were they like a little bit cautious at first, or were they, fully supportive from the get-go?
My parents were super supportive even before Fnatic Rising. Like my mom, for example, pretty much these days watches every single one of my games.
Oh, I love it.
No joke.
Yeah.
So they're like, my mom is super into it. She loves this. The one problem I have is she's reading the HOTV comments, and you
Never
don't
do
wanna,
that.
don't read that. Some people in there are really bad.
Yeah,
But like, I
never
don't.
do that.
She likes to read it. For some reason, she just loves to see what people have to say.
Yeah.
But she's always keeping up to date with all my matches, and she's a bit critical as well.
Okay,
She's
all right. Did she give you advice?
I mean, yeah. When I lose it, I get told off. When I win, it's like, wow, yeah, amazing.
That's
But
that's fully invested. I love that.
yeah, I've had a lot of support from my parents, I'd say.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So kind of the conversation about like sort of juggling Fnatic Rising and university, they were fully supportive of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a very easy, kind of great thing to hear. So we'll move on to now sort of the Twitter and Reddit questions, just the random ones. I mean, you've probably seen a few of them already yourself, but we can start with them. I was start with one that it's quite interesting. What is your personal warm-up routine, kind of before a game, or even before like a pug, for example? What do you like to do? I know some people say 1,000 kills in DM or a bit of aim labs or whatever. What do you like to do?
I found that the more I DM, so if I do 1,000 DM kills, I've wasted all my headshots. I'm not gonna have any more
For the
headshots going into
game.
the plug. Yeah, so I like to be a bit more reserved. I do like around 200 kills max. I
Sure.
don't want to go all out. Uh, Sometimes I might do some aimbots, but usually I stick to deathmatch.
Right.
Around
Makes
200,
sense.
and surfing as well. I still
Okay.
love to surf.
Yeah, it
So
keeps the movement there, I guess.
yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So another one as well is what's the best thing that Fnatic Rising has offered you?
In what way?
I don't know. That was a raw question.
Best thing
That was from Reddit. They said, what is the best thing that Fnatic Rising has offered you? So you can take that in any way you want.
the best thing they've offered me.
Yeah.
I mean, the money surely helps.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we are receiving like support from the management as well, so that's great also.
Sure.
Right now, I'd say it's not that much because their focus is on the main team.
Of course, yeah.
With the RMRs, they want to get back in the major circuit, so it makes sense that they will want to put all their focus on the main team before the academy team. And I think we're doing pretty alright on our own right now.
You're doing fine right now, yeah.
Yeah, it's decent. But I think over time we'll get more support from the management as well to make sure that we can continue to play good.
Looking forward as well, is there the possibility of boot camps as well? If you look towards potentially season 6, or maybe if there's going to be a LAN for season 6, are you will Fnatic kind of help facilitate a boot camp with that kind of thing?
I think we were meant to boot camp for this season,
Okay.
but one of our players started school actually.
Oh, right.
So
yeah,
we couldn't really
Yeah.
go for it. Yeah. So, but boot camp is definitely an option for the future.
For sure, for sure. And looking towards the season just gone, someone was wondering who's the hardest team in your opinion that you faced?
This season?
Yeah. Or was every game just so easy? You just, there was no hard ones.
I can't say no. I don't know. It's a hard one. I think I don't think we struggled really against a particular team.
Sure.
But I guess Spirit were the closest. Spirit Academy.
Okay. Even though you 16-1 them in that map.
16 on Inferno, but like, come on, how many Infernos did we win? I think we only lost one Inferno, and that was basically the C word again.
The old choke, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 25-23, crazy game. But we did get a revenge, yeah. But I think our maps against them were the closest out of everyone. I think even against Big, we had the easier time. Because like against Spirit, I think we played Overpass, it was 16-13. They beat us on Nuke because our Nuke isn't doing that great at the moment.
Sure.
And also we beat them on the Mirage 16-14, so that was super close again. So I think Spirit Academy were the hardest team to play against.
And in terms of individuals from this season, who do you think was kind of the best performing individual that wasn't part of Fnatic Rising?
Hey, you can't do this to me.
Or like, who do you think was like one of the hardest ones to come against? Like anyone that you played that was like you played against them and they were like just absolutely ridiculous. I know like a few people this season look towards players like Headtrick had a pretty decent season. I think he played pretty well. There's a few here and there's any that you think that you played against or saw and they were just like really good in your opinion?
I mean the donk guy in Spirit Academy. I mean that guy, you know, he donked us quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'll say it was unfortunate that they had to swap him out for Inferno because he did play pretty well in Mirage. Maybe that's why we 16-1 them because donk wasn't there.
Who knows?
We'll never find out. But I think he's pretty crisp.
Pretty crisp, fair enough. Okay, and then a completely non-CS related off topic one. What's your all-time favorite food or snack?
All-time favorite food or snack?
Yeah.
Oh, these questions are like the hardest to answer. I don't even know. I don't think there's
You don't have a favorite. You can't think of. Okay, list a few of them. Give us a few. Maybe a few that you like. You know, you always will say yes to. Like for me, it's like sushi. Like sushi is like my.
Oh, I mean, I love sushi. I've been eating a lot of sushi lately, and my mom is telling me that I'll get sick of it, but I don't think so.
No,
like,
I don't think either.
I just keep having it. It's amazing every single time. I think it tastes better every single time that I have it.
Exactly. It's brilliant.
I love some spaghetti sometimes.
Okay, nice.
Bolognese will.
Does it for you? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like specific things. There's like Romanian things, foods that I like.
Go on, list them. I probably have no idea what they are, but.
I mean, they don't really have names, but like it's things that my mom makes. Basically, anything that my mom cooks is
homemade food. Yeah,
my favorite.
The best.
Yeah, it always is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then another tough one. All-time favorite movie.
All-time favorite movie.
Yeah, what is your favorite movie of all time, or like maybe a couple? Because that is a damn tough. I think I couldn't even answer that question. I don't think.
Well. One of my favorite movies is the one with Tom Hanks. What is it called again? The one where he's on an island and he has like a
Castaway.
Castaway. I like that's a good movie. I like that one a lot.
I actually haven't seen that film. I need to watch it.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's good. I don't know. I don't really watch movies that much.
Sure.
Like I'll say out of everyone, I'm like one of the lowest movie watchers that there is.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
We can move on to this one, and you're gonna have to explain the story behind this. But Dweg asks, do you miss the complicated Nando's order from Insomnia 68? What's the story behind that?
I'll give the context. So one day after the Insomnia group stage, you know, the team was starving, of course. Like, we're hungry. We had 10-hour delays. We didn't eat or anything, so we were just sitting there. So after the day ended, we decided to go to Nando's, and we ordered in pairs because I don't know why, but yeah, we ordered in pairs. And you know, we all came back to the table, and the food started coming in. You know, 2 guys got their food, 2 guys got their food. Everyone got their food, except for me and the person I ordered with. And we were just sitting there, just waiting for our food. Everyone was eating for like 15 minutes at this point. They were almost finished, and we're just still waiting for our food, and it was nowhere to be seen.
Right.
And then I asked the manager, like, you know, what's happening with it, and he just straight up tells me that they forgot about our order,
brilliant.
and he's gonna start making it now. So at this point, everyone else is finished eating, and our order is just getting made. So when our food came, everyone is just watching us eat.
So it's an awkward thing ever as well.
And I was super angry because I was like,
10-hour
starving at that
delays.
point.
And
Yeah. I wanted to eat so bad, so I was just sitting there watching everyone eat, and then I hear the manager say that the food like they forgot
I
to
forgot.
make our food,
That would get me too. That makes sense.
and I did say I'm not gonna go Nando's, but I'm still going Nando's. So
Of course.
yeah,
You can't. You can't say no to Nando's.
I forgive them.
Do you support a football team? I know you mentioned you don't play football. Do you support a football team at all?
Nah.
No.
No, but
Go
any
on.
team that beats Arsenal, because I hate no hate I love to see my friend suffer when Arsenal loses.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I
whoever
couldn't
beats
agree
Arsenal,
more.
yeah, that team's my favorite on the day.
Awesome. Best place you've ever visited? Like best country or city or whatnot that you've ever visited?
Malta.
Oh, okay, sure.
Actually, when I went with Coalesce at the time
Hmm.
to the LAN, that I think that experience was super nice.
Sick.
I
Fair
really
enough.
enjoyed it. So maybe one day I'll go there again.
Hmm.
Without a LAN, of course, to be able to visit more places. But I think
Sure. If you
Malta
could,
for sure.
if you could build your dream CS roster, it's got to include yourself. So you got to pick 4 players around you. Who would it be and why?
Just any country, like
Yeah, any
player.
country, any player. We can forget about the language barrier for now. Just sort of your 4 dream players around you, and who you picking?
Okay, so of course myself.
Yeah,
Simple. I mean, if you don't say simple, what are you
you're an
even
idiot.
doing?
Yeah,
So
exactly. You
simple.
have to say
Okay, we
simple.
have
Yeah,
simple on the big green,
yeah,
shooting everyone, getting the 1.3 rating every game.
yep.
Uh, Kerrigan,
Sure.
calling, phase number 1, of course.
Hmm.
Who else do we have? Rain. I love Rain.
Okay.
Rain is I just ever since the first lineup with Kingwin when
Hmm.
Rain was in there, I've
Way
been
back
like a
when.
huge fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rain, and then last one. Mm, who else? Maybe an anchor.
Yeah.
Someone to
Who
just
you going anchor wise?
Axel. We'll put Axel in
Okay.
there. He's
Sure. Nice. Pretty good one.
he's solid. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nice stuff, nice stuff. So, what do you think of? Kind of, we already slightly touched on this, but what do you think of the kind of the future of UK FPS games? So both kind of CS and Valorant, and kind of how they need to change in the future. Or what do you think? Do they have a good future, or is it going to get worse? What's your thoughts?
I'm not sure about UK Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really looked into it much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for UK CS, it's gonna continue growing.
Sure.
I hope at least.
Mm-hmm.
It is looking good so far, but as I said before, like uh, players need to continue on the
Yeah.
way it's going right now. Otherwise, it will just go back to how it was before, and it's trash. But I think
Yeah.
I think it is looking good,
Mm-hmm.
at least for now.
Sure. And the next one is, have you ever played PUBG Mobile? I'm assuming
No,
there's probably
I,
a story behind that.
it's not really a story, but uh, I'm not gonna go into it because it might not be friendly for this.
But
Mazda can teach me to play it maybe one day.
yeah, but I'm assuming you've had a bad experience playing PUBG Mobile.
Oh yeah, I haven't played PUBG Mobile. I played PUBG. I don't like PUBG.
Oh, sure,
I
sure.
played a bit. It never really worked out for me.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe off
Off camera.
off
Sure.
camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So the next one is someone was asking, when are you going to start streaming?
Start streaming. Funny thing is, I upgraded my internet back in January or February
Hmm.
to start streaming, and I still haven't. I don't know. It's just it's been a bit rough to get
You've been busy as
into.
well, to be fair. You've been
Yeah,
winning
being a bit busy.
trophies. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe now, I can like put a clickbait title. We play
There we go.
champion in there to get some views. But
Exactly.
soon, hopefully soon. I have PC is like perfect for streaming.
Hmm.
Internet is perfect. I just need to press that start streaming button. But
Exactly.
that's the hardest part.
Yeah, yeah, oh, 100%. I have to agree there as well. So I was asking, are we ever going to see you kind of grinding out FPL-C or trying to make your way into FPL, anything like that?
I did get invited to FPL-C,
Hmm.
but I didn't play any games, so I got kicked straight away. So
Classic. Well,
yeah, but
was this
I don't know.
recently, though?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a month ago maybe.
You were busy.
I don't know. I just yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't plugged much, so
Hmm.
maybe in the future I'll
Exactly.
get it again and I'll start streaming it. But for now,
Mhm.
I have been kicked, unfortunately.
GG, hate to see it. So, what differentiates top regions in CS:GO compared to others? So, you look to sort of some of the best regions. I think the Danish region is probably one of the best. What differentiates them to some of the slightly more struggling ones?
I think at least in the Danish scene, a lot of players that have been at the top have also gone a bit down to pass on their knowledge and
Right.
the structure onto lower teams, and then that kind of just had like a trickle down effect. So we kind of got the lower teams getting the experience of players that have been at the top.
Yeah.
But like in the UK scene, we don't really have that. Like we're trying to get players to the top right now, and then maybe in the future they will start passing this experience down to the lower teams. But in Denmark at least, they have people to learn from, and that's what the UK is lacking at least.
For sure.
There isn't enough experience yet to be passed on.
For sure. So Cypher asks, who is your worst teammate and why is it extinct?
Yeah, he's toxic. He's always. No, I'm kidding. He's definitely not on my worst teammate list. I'm not gonna
say who it is.
Answer that.
Don't put yourself in the mud there.
I can't do that. That's not the PR.
No. You've been trained too well for that. And then you got the other side. Extinct asks, who's your easiest opponent and why is it Cypher?
See, had we won Insomnia against ITB, I would be like, yes, it is Cypher, but they beat us, so I can't say that.
Yeah. I was there. I was casting it. It was rough.
Yeah. He's got it this time, but I'll get my revenge.
Sure.
I'll get it.
Are we ever potentially going to see you out in Insomnia, even if you're kind of just there to, even if you're still part of Fnatic, but playing as a mix or playing for a bit of fun?
Yeah, possibly. I'm not gonna be at this one because I'm taking my break, so I'll be away. But maybe one in the future, I'll try make an appearance.
Nice. So the very, very last question. That's what I was wondering. Would you ever be tempted to make the switch to Valorant? Let's say even if CS:GO was no longer an option, would you ever be tempted?
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
Did you give it a go and it was just not for you?
Yeah, I played it and I stopped playing it and I haven't touched it since. I can't do it. It's not it.
No,
I don't know. Like all of the agents and the abilities, just they don't do it for me, and I don't think I can ever. You see, I'm saying this now, and who knows? Like in the future,
we'll see you in 2 years' time playing.
Yeah,
I'll bring this one back.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Fair enough. Well, mate, that concludes all of our questions. So once again, I give you a massive thank you. I can leave the floor open if there's anyone you want to shout out. You can feel free to do it now. Or also your Twitter is linked right below you, so go and follow Vault on Twitter. All the good stuff. But if you want to give any shout outs, feel free to do it now.
Biggest shout out, my mom, my biggest fan.
Big up.
Of course, it helps a lot when your mom at least supports you. Like it pushes you even further. So. I'll just keep it to that simple shout out.
Shout out Volts, man. We love to see it. Stop reading HLTV as well. You're not getting anything from it. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
GG's, mate. Well, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Good luck into season 6. I'm sure we'll probably catch up just some time before there. Might even cast it as well, so it'll be good fun. But good luck, mate. And thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you everyone at home for watching. It's been another episode now, I guess to know. It's been good to have you along. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, follow, like, all the good stuff. See you very soon. Bye-bye.